We're back at it. We're back at it again. Yes, benevolence isn't charity. I know that it sounds something that you would already know, you would think you would know, but actually people don't know this. And I have to just come with it, and I'm gonna just get right to the message, and we will constantly compound the fact that it is not that. So, what is benevolence? Now, some people may say it's just a genuine act of kindness. It's is to do something without seeking reciprocity, right? But if we just look it up, you know, benevolent, which is the root word, and it is someone who is kind, helpful, and generous, done for the benefit of others rather than for profit. So everything I'm saying, just in their own way, kind and with positive intentions. Now, listen, they say similar but not the same as charitable. Now, we're going to put up what the word charity is. Now, I need y'all to understand charity is not benevolence. We're going to get the actual. A charity is an organization set up to provide help and raise money for those in need. So, the difference between benevolence and charity is that you don't have to give money, right on, in order to be benevolent. And their understanding, though, you can give money and be benevolent, but it's looked at as some sort of charitable thing, especially if you give it to a charity. Charities don't act out of benevolence. Even if they tell you they're a not-for-profit, they're using money to do what they do. So they're not using their own fiduciary, financial, fiscal means. It's not their own actual dollars. It's someone else's money. And people say, well, that's smart. Oh, it's base level ingenuity to get started. But at some point, you should need your own, to have your own, to show people this is ours and this is what we do. But that's beside the point. Benevolence and charity are not the same. And just so people don't think I'm not screen sharing or nothing like that. I'm just talking because I need people to get it. And I'll put the dang on uh, being. You copy that and put that link up in there so that way you can go look and you got two eyes you can see. And why I'm saying this is because a full moon just happened, right? And I like to believe that I act out of base level benevolence. I haven't even uploaded it from my phone that I have the full moon on it. The reason why I say that is because this full moon cycle is one of the 28-day cycles, not a full month like it may take the moon sometimes. 7 weeks is actually, 4 weeks is actually 28 days. But that doesn't mean that she always completes that cycle of her. Anyway, the moon has several different cycles of 28 and 29 days where her completeness, not just her, or not just whatever she's doing, what she does and shows her fullness happens in that time. This is why people's days of this, because the Sabbath is the full moon. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to dispute that with people. The Sabbath is the full moon. So no matter what day the full moon falls on, that is the day of the Sabbath. Now, not even coincidentally, in a true 4-week fashion, the moon fell and not fell, or she began her 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 cyclic motions to becoming full again sooner than normal. And this was an observation. Within my observation, I had to sit back and pay attention and wait several days to see what would appear or what would not appear. When the appearance of a sliver of a moon appeared, I then knew that the full moon would be sooner than it was. And so now again, this is just my own observation. Just want to share that with y'all. Back to being benevolent and charitable. And once again, that's just me being benevolent. I'm sharing something that I don't have to share. But if people who are interested in that sort of information just want to know, I'm telling them now, just so they know, just off the hip. Now back to the point. When you have people who try to tell me as a man that I don't work, that I don't, like some guy tried to tell me I was demonic, devil, told me that nobody loved me, had no friends. Uh, and I'm like, nah, bro, I'm pretty sure you're wrong. Like, I don't have a whole bunch of friends, but I have a few like really good friends, like, people that I love. And I would consider them more than friends. I would consider them family. So, and these aren't people who I call and talk to on the phone like that. These are just people who I can go see. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where that came from with this individual, but they were angry because they were talking about black fatigue, right? And this is what this whole thing is really about. It's about black fatigue because benevolence isn't charity. And so when you say that these individuals are, everybody's saying there's a certain group of individuals who are saying that white folks are tired of hearing black people complain. Now, I've been the only dude, other than some little Jewish dude not too long ago, but I'm the only nigga that I know say this, that they've made a Holocaust movie for forever. They make one every year. Paul Mooney might have brought it up on the humbug, but he didn't really go in on it. I'm going in on the fact that, dude, if that's not a victimhood mentality, I don't know what is. Right? Whenever the so-called Europeans portray the Romans, they portray the Romans in a lot of lights. If you really look at it, they're a rapist, they're incestual, they're murderous. There are a whole bunch of extra stuff that's going on with them. And they make it seem as if these individuals called the Franks, the Lombards and the Picts and the Jutes, right? They make it seem as if them, individuals who claim to be Celts, right? Individuals who look, I'm just going to say it like this right here. Whether they say they're Scandinavian or whatever, it doesn't matter to me. All I'm saying is that all these individuals make it seem as if they were victims or somehow they were on the undertow. But none of them talk about, like, no. Notice when they make movies, they almost never pick them when you know that slavery is going down tough in America, right? And if they do, it's a movie that's about that time, or it's totally removed from all what's going on in America, right? So people can't even understand, like, they always paint themselves in the undertow. So they're the ones with the victimhood mentality. Black people don't make their own movies for the most part, and the ones that do make cinema that's subjective. It's not an objective point of view because it's not like they came from the hood and they make romance movies that have nothing to do with hood elements, or they're born in the suburbs and all their movies have nothing to do with, non-suburban elements. Like, these people make their niche where they feel like they most understand things. And sometimes they're successful, sometimes they're not as successful as they wish they could have been. That's not the problem, though. The problem is that people act like the charity that's been done for Black people was done out of a benevolent standpoint. Never. Everything they ever did for Black people, they want to try to make it seem like that somehow erases slavery and the struggle for proper restitution, for repatriation, and for reparations. See, I don't need to get loud about nothing. I know why we're here. I'm not going to call him a fool because he says he believes in the Most High God, but the individual yesterday who approached me in such a disgusting manner did so in such where they, once again, proof. He thought what he was doing was some sort of charity to me. The man said, I never knew my father, y'all. Now, had we been face to face and he lied like that, if he lied on my father like that, I'd have been forced to put these hands on him without any kind of warning. If you lie, if my father's dead, he can't speak for himself. So it's not like I can call him and be like, hey, Pops, this man said that you didn't raise me and that you was never there for me. Talk to him, right? Because I'm not going to get hostile with you if I know how to remediate that by my means. But if I feel like it's already there, I'm trying to take your whole lid off. And I don't have no reason not to. That being said, though, the individual felt like their charitable verbal reprimand, right? They felt like that was benevolence. As if you talking to me like that is going to make me more of a man in that moment. Nigga, you don't know what I do every day. You don't know what I do to have to maintain. But when the dude was calling me a demon and this and that, and I was like, see, this is where I would pour out some of that high-level angelic energy on him. I told you, I'm on angel time, not on demon time. But an angel will stamp your head out way faster than a demon will. Straight like that. So I always be laughing. These dudes is moving sideways. He's moving sideways, not realizing like, now I'm watching you. I'm not even watching you, but now if I see you, I should never see you. You live way on the East Coast somewhere. You look like you live around a bunch of white people. You know what I'm saying? You look like that's where you want to be at. And I'm not mad at him, right? I live in a state where it's predominantly white. Like listen to the numbers. 4.6% black. Half of those are non-American born blacks. So we're talking about 2 and point change percent are actual black people out of the 80+% that identifies as white. I guarantee you this individual does not live in a state where it's 80-something% white. I guarantee it. So when they say that and they speak what they're speaking, they coming from a point of view where it's like we don't even live in the same kind of stratosphere. I live in a whole nother kind of environment. You know, you can speak like that because, again, these people are listening to you because you cater to their lowest vibrational frequencies. I do not. I'm sorry that your father was never there, right? And I'm sorry that you felt the need to project on a brother some awkward nonsense that had nothing to do with them. But again, this is me being benevolent, not charitable. I don't need to call you out your name. I don't even need to call you out. Because for a fact, you're going to look this video up. You're going to find it to see. I don't put people's names in titles. I don't never responded to a person and put their name in the title. I've only ever put a dead man's name in the title type of stuff. And I don't even like doing that. But if it will give it understanding, then I will do that. I'm the only person I know that broke down some of the stuff that, like, listen, when the Tatiana Jefferson got murdered, right? I broke it down. I'm telling you, the day after I broke it down, Cuz was indicted. Y'all can go think that I'm lying. Right on? When the stuff that happened with baby girl, Breonna Taylor and her coward ass boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, who should be dead, by the way. The cops should have shot that nigga all in his face. That nigga should be off the earth. She should be alive. He should be dead. They should have been able to identify who had the weapon and who didn't. But that nigga's a drug dealer. A week or two later, his cousin got killed. Nigga, they was tying up loose ends. She was one of them. That's all that is. Y'all can act like and say like and feel like whatever. I'm just telling y'all the truth. And like I said, that nigga ain't got no spine. That nigga turned into goop in order to not get hit after firing a shot. And those niggas just let a volley. They could identify that she was naked so they could see that she didn't have a weapon. Obviously. So that means that she's not the one who fired on you. But for them to not be able to identify this individual, and I mean, and ice his ass right there on the floor, bullshit. I call bullshit. Niggas should be dead. And for all you coward ass niggas who would fire one shot and think that that's enough, we don't fire warning shots around here. We don't fire warning shots. We sure don't. We sure don't. The best you're gonna get from anybody I know, come on, is right up on them. So all that bullshit that these niggas is talking about, they don't know nothing. And again, to be benevolent, my people. So you can't, it's one thing for you to give a homeless person some money, and you could even put it on the internet. That's more benevolent Especially if you're not going to write it off on your taxes or no weird shit like that. You're just posting it. And these are the acts of kindness I do. Okay, cool. Now to me, you don't get brownie points with God because you're letting the whole world know what you did. Right on? And you could have did it out of the so-called kindness of your heart, but you felt the need to exploit this person's a moment of need. Right? You feel what I'm saying? And they're such in need that they would not mind you have them on camera exploiting their situation. Because you're not going around the suburbs and giving rich people money. Moving on. So, again, when people give people money and then they write it off, that's charity. That's not benevolence. No matter what they feel, and their heart is deceitful above all things, y'all. This is why when the dude was asking me yesterday what I believe, I didn't tell him nothing. Because once you started attacking me as a person, I have no need to clarify, verify, vindicate, validate, okay, anything that I believe in the Most High God to you. Who the fuck are you, nigga? You pays no bills up in this bitch. You pays for nothing up in this bitch. Bitch ass nigga gonna say, I bet you live with your mama. Niggas is like, I bet he lives with his mama. And I was like, I pay my own rent. Then they were like, some niggas is like, oh, everybody pays their own rent. Now you sound like a grown woman. I'm like, but this nigga didn't sound like a woman telling me that I live with my mother. Get the fuck out of here, man. These niggas are so mentally delusional. These niggas are so cult behavior. That's why everybody who comes around here who fucks with Meech knows, nigga, I tell you, nigga, think for yourself. Niggas is like, Meech, you fired this one late. Of course I did. Didn't fire it late on purpose. It was supposed to be a couple days out, but I had some extra stuff going on, you know, my people's father passed away, you know what I'm saying? So we just been trying to work that out and you know, and see what that situation is. But so, you know what I'm saying? I've been trying to tend to different things, and my real life is way more important than a YouTube video. I've already told the people everything they need to hear. They have to just go back and listen to it and just take some of the verbal lashings that I have, because I'm giving it to everybody. I'm not, once again, I'm not tax exempt from some of my criticisms. Right on. Once again, there's things that I have to go through daily and battle with daily, right? You know, the whole thing with like sexual discipline and shit. Like people don't understand, like you can't just be out here trying to be up on everything. You just can't. You know what I'm saying? Just because she looks good doesn't mean you need to be at her type of shit. Like I battle with the same little shit that other niggas battle with, but I don't battle with it on some being thirsty or being, I just have to, you know, it's a battle in the mind. Right on? You know, and to have thought it is to have pretty much practiced the act, the Messiah says. Even though I don't totally agree with that, I just understand that what you think on, sometimes you act upon. So if you don't think about it, you're not going to try to act about it. And I totally get it. So that's where I stand with that. But however, that's neither here nor there. But that's just me telling the truth and just saying, like, nigga, I'm not perfect, but the shit that I battle with every day is way different than what these niggas are battling with. This nigga sounded like a full all-out flamer, y'all. The nigga compared his channel to a gay club. I swear to God, I can't make this shit up. Right on, I'm being benevolent. Like I said, I'm not going to say no names. The nigga said you wouldn't go to a gay club and complain about it, but nigga, I wouldn't go to a gay club, period. So why are you comparing? Again, if he has said something along the lines of, somebody brings you to a club and you don't know it's a gay club and you see something that you don't like and you're like, bro, what the fuck? And then he explains, oh, I found out that but no, nigga, you just made your shit a gay club. So I'm have to assume you's a gay boy. That's the bottom line. Without any kind of projection, because you projected that out of your own mouth as a grown-ass man and tried to say some weird shit like that to me. But now, nigga, I have a chance to rebuttal because you didn't know that I had my own channel. And you don't ever have to see this video. My people will see it. They'll ask me, and I'll let them know who it is. Yeah. But for a nigga to even speak like that in that essence, and for him to have brought homosexuals into it for nothing, when he could have just used his own understanding. But what did he do, though? He hated on a brother. All because I said that white folks in Appalachia, right on, are worse than any kind of black people. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. I see YouTube over here hating on me right now. You know what I'm saying? They're mad because I said what I said. They better just let it be. Yeah. You know, the whole thing just being this, y'all. Dude said something that was so out of pocket. And he was so angry because I had brought up something that was closer to the subject than not. It just made him angry because he couldn't deny what I said. Had he addressed what I said, as opposed to projecting something totally different than what I had presented at the first, I didn't project anything. I presented a point. It wasn't even in contradiction. There were no capital letters all over the place, exclamation points, no crazy ass emojis, no none of that shit. So for a nigga to feel like I came at him any kind of way, it's like, bro, the tone is literally written as it is. I'm going to type something in the message. I'm going to say, how y'all doing? Right? Oh, that's right. Apostrophe. Yeah. If I put how y'all doing, that's not yelling. That's not whispering. Now, however you read it to yourself, now you have to know my voice, but let's just say you don't know my voice, right? If I put that in the chat, and I've seen people be attacked for putting stuff like that in people's chats, coming through, right? Trying to be peaceable. And motherfuckers would be like, who the fuck is this guy? And they all gang up on a person, which is like weirdo activity. Because you're all on you're on the internet. You would never be that brazen in real life by yourself to step to nobody. These niggas, listen, these dudes who say that they got bodies or say like, oh man, gangsters move in silence. Bro, you running down on people who are not armed. There's nothing brave about that. You ain't doing that to the police. Right on? You ain't doing that to white boys. You're doing that to niggas who are literally, again, listen to me, y'all. Black people pull from the wealth of less than 1 penny. If all the wealth in America is $1, we pull from less than 1 penny collectively as a whole people. So it's not impressive that you were able to acquire fiduciary means and this other person couldn't. That's not impressive. It's not impressive that you shut them down and murdered them over fiduciary means that you could have reacquired. Not impressive. Not impressive that now his family has to go without his services or her services forever. And they may not even have been out there in streets like that. Not even half in, half out the streets, just wrong place, wrong time. I get so sick and tired of these dudes who think they know something about me. Nigga, you don't know nothing about me. You ain't spent the day in these shoes and you could. He was talking about how he raised his daughters. See, old school, super young me, those are my children. Right on, and laughed at them. Right on? Okay? Cold ass nigga. I'm like that. Just to get under your skin. Those are my children. Yeah. Right on? Ask your wife about me type of shit. Yeah, when I was a young nigga. Didn't care. And I don't give a fuck. Gives 0 fucks. But I growed up, so now it's like I don't have to say shit like that to bitch ass niggas like that. I just pray that they get out of line with people who they never try nothing with. Right on? Because me being benevolent and not charitable, I don't go around people I don't want to be around. I don't even get in situations because at a base level benevolence, I'm not going to put myself somewhere where I feel like I might have to fuck you up. I'm not going to let you just hurt me. Don't even worry about hurting me. That's already in your mind. I don't care about none of that. I already told myself that about any and everybody. They already think they can do whatever to you. So we're going to have to do it to them first. Anytime. Right on? And unlike other people, I'm not gearing up on no punches. You'll just get flooded with a 19-piece combo. No biscuits, no soda, no coleslaw, no macaroni, nigga, no mashed potatoes, none of that. You feel me? Right on? Just wings and hot sauce, nigga. That's it. And a 19-piece, bro. I'm telling you. That's the kind of shit that niggas is getting out here. I don't have to put no pistol on you to get the best of you. Take your own gun from you and use it on your bitch ass. You faggot ass, cap ass niggas don't even know. Yeah, I'm like that. Rip your dick and balls off with one hand and take the gun with the other one, nigga. Yeah. You talking to a straight savage, bro. The kind of shit they was doing to niggas in World War II. Grab, twist, and pull, nigga. Yeah, get rid of your shit. We'll just get rid of you, nigga. Use your own shit on you. I don't need no gun. You talking to, once again, I ain't never said that out loud, but now you know what'll happen to you. You'll literally just be dick and ballless out here. Gone. With your whole shit pushed in with your own motherfucking pistol, nigga. Laughing. Like, yeah, that's what you get. Take that to the grave, nigga. Don't worry. That's the kind of shit that you want. That's the kind of shit that you get. You're talking to a real killer. Like, who will really do something bad to you. All those other niggas who say whatever, who ain't never tried to really hurt nobody, without trying to hurt this dude, I knocked this nigga's teeth out. Wasn't even being, well, there was nothing about it, y'all. It was real life self-defense. Dude cornered me, wouldn't let me just carry on in peace, made me feel completely threatened from all. I don't know if I got a weapon or not, whatever. I'm to find out you lied anyway. Had I known he lied on me, my intent would have been completely different. Would have tried to break that dude off nastily. Would have kneed him all in his head and everything, bro. He probably would like be a vegetable right now, or just not be here with us. And I'm totally fine with that. Right on? Because guess what? If you lie on somebody and something bad happens to you, you lied, not them. I was benevolent though. I wasn't charitable to him. Right on? I wasn't charitable. I was benevolent that day. Word, that was kind what I did to him. I didn't do that because I was trying to get something out of that. I did that out of the kindness of my heart. Hey, bro, when somebody tells you leave them alone and carry on and go, bro, go have a good day, bro. That's what I told him. Go have a good day, bro. Just go, man, go enjoy your day. But you want to keep fucking around. Like that nigga that was talking crazy on the internet. I'd have told that nigga one time, hey, bro, don't talk about my father. I had to say several times, oh, quit speaking on my father. I think he started to understand, like, nigga, I paid to bury my father, nigga. I buried my father. You didn't put no dollars up on that, nigga. Don't ever speak on my father, nigga. Don't ever talk about my father. Because while you think I don't got nobody out there, there's people who love me, bro. People who care about me. And niggas who have, bro, who will reach, come on, my nigga. Stop it, bro. Stop it. You niggas are not built like that. You niggas are fucking butter and marshmallows. For real, for real. Butter and fucking marshmallows. You had better realize, nigga, once again, benevolence. My people, every time you don't go out here and smash somebody who was acting outside themselves, that's an act of benevolence. I'm trying to give y'all the game right now. Understand. Like I said, benevolence is charity is money. I didn't pay for his teeth to get fixed. I didn't do none of that. I felt charitable at one point, right? I felt like doing a charitable thing. But to be truthful with you though, I didn't do that. I didn't end up doing that. Like I told the dude, I didn't mean to knock your teeth. I swear to God, y'all, that was not, when I punched this dude, there was no like first thought. Like my first thought, really, because I didn't want to hit him with my left hand and kill him on accident. That was my very first thought. Swear to God. I was like, I could yam this nigga with the left as hard as I could hit him as hard as I could hit. I could probably have hit him with an 88%, 91% power. You know, maybe not everything, but he would have got almost everything, y'all. Would have crushed him right on his chin, but he could have fell back, hit his head on this little fucking laundry table and shit and fucked around and been dead. So I did the opposite, right on. I punched him where I felt like even if he falls back, the worst thing he'll do is fall into this wall. Word. But he went down like a sack of potatoes. Then he took a couple more shots as I tried to neutralize him. You know what I'm saying? Word. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to neutralize him. Word. I wasn't trying to incapacitate him, but I was trying to neutralize him. In the midst of all that, we had a tussle. Word. Still then, I didn't strike him anymore, even though I could have gave it to this dude. I'm the one who stopped the engagement. That's benevolence, y'all. Y'all need to start understanding. When I was out there in Seattle, the crazy ass white boy nigga almost got himself shot out there years ago. Look, he picked up a weapon. Right on? After he lost. Look, bro, I don't know what you plan on doing with this weapon, but you better calm down. Pistol on his chest. Right on? You better calm down, bro. You got a weapon in your hand. Yeah, nigga, weapon on fire, nigga, finger straighten off the trigger. His woman trying to get in the way, push her out the way. Hey, man, somebody get her. Nah, bro, we gonna wait till the police get here. Then I holster my shit when the cops get there. Oh, yeah, nigga. Yeah, you want to go tell them something. And all these people here on my side, they all saying the same thing. You started a fight, you got beat up, you came back, started another fight, got beat up again, then you picked up a fucking metal sign that could do who knows what kind of bodily harm to somebody. I did the benevolent thing. I didn't just blast you down, nigga. You feel me? And make it to where your parents have to motherfucking carry your bitch ass. Nah, or burn you up. Nah, I'll let you learn a lesson. Right. For all the other dudes who got hands and feet put on out there in Seattle. For all the crazy little niggas who used to do stupid shit who had to get walked down on a little bit. What's popping, player? You know, I'm just talking, you know, the difference between being benevolent and being charitable. I know it's Jedi. I know who it is. I know it's you, Noobly. Yeah. I seen that Lee, baby. Okay. I seen that Lee. I said, I know who it is. Yeah. How you feeling today, bro? I'm hoping all is well. I just been kicking this dust on them with this little piece because it's just real quick. Benevolence, right? Because I haven't pasted it, but this is benevolence. Let me paste that real quick. The 1 second. Oh, they acting up. 1 second. They're trying to act funny with it. Bing is on some other stuff. It's okay. They won't let me get the benevolent one, but they got the charity one. But anyway, benevolent, by definition, it's an adjective, they say. It's kind and with positive intentions. Check this out. They're going to hate this one. Benevolence is when a parent sees their child do something improper and they chastise the child. That is kind, and they did it with positive intention. Yes, it is. It's kind for you to care for someone, and sometimes when you show them that love, it is what they call tough love or hard love. But I do this with the best intention because I don't want you to carry on in error and get yourself hurt or killed or hurt or kill someone else. Benevolence is not always what people think it is. Or it's not you wrapping up somebody's leg because it's broken or making them a homemade sling. Even though that is a true act of benevolence. I won't say that the act of whooping ass isn't, right? And chastising somebody isn't. That's just when we think of benevolence, we think of somebody taking care of somebody who's sick in their bed, right? And nursing them back to health. Word, that's benevolence. But I'm saying that there's another side of benevolence. The other side of it is breaking people down. See, if somebody's wickedly evil and the only way to stop them is to take their life, then actually what you did was an act of kindness, maybe not towards them, but towards everyone else. And it is an act of positivity. It's intentionally positive because it's meant to make their lives better. Let me give you a prime example. There be these dudes in prison, right? Shot callers and stuff sometimes, right? And every once in a while, the shot callers will have to let a dude who's trying to tank boss or trying to boss hard, he trying to buffalo niggas. And sometimes they'll have to let one of those dudes get touched up, right? so that way everybody else in the environment can breathe. Because this one dude or these two dudes is making it real tough. So they might have to, you know what I'm saying? Somebody might have to put that steel to them. And unfortunate, but it happens. What I'm saying is this. If a man is out in his village and he's a rapist and he's a thief and he hasn't murdered, but he has attempted to murder, he has smoked with great grievances, many of men. A man like that cannot be allowed to walk on the earth. He has to be removed by all means. It's the kind thing to do for all of us. Right. And it's actually merciful. We're actually doing the right thing by them. They got a troubled soul, a troubled spirit. We're going to put it to rest. Right on. We're going to bury them deep. And if we have to, we're going to burn their body. That's why I don't believe in, this is why I don't believe in cremation. Right on. This is why I personally don't believe in cremation, because some of the punishments for the wicked were to set them on fire. But you have people who've been forced to, out of financial means, to cremate a relative. And all I would say is that a wicker box is better than a cremation. Let me say that again. A wicker box is better than cremation. But back to the point, though, some of these dudes got to go, bro. Some of these females have to go. And there was this individual the other day, you know, I was talking about this earlier, and I won't carry on it too long, but this individual was so aggravated with me that when I spoke my piece, and I wasn't even like I was talking to him like I'm talking now. I wasn't live. I was in the comment section. So, you know, I make it to where in my comments, you can go as much as you can type. It'll let you hit it up, bro. I only have a 1 second interval between each person's message because I don't have a lot of traffic. And even if I did, I want people to be able to respond promptly. As the moderator, as the ultimate moderator of my channel, I should not have the ability to speak to you and then you not be able to respond back as quickly as possible. So that way it's not just a one-sided whatever. That's trash, you know? And I'm not going to anybody's channel to take it over. But if somebody speaks on me or speaks to something that I said, I have to respond. I'm that kind of person. Not everything is worthy of a reaction, but everything that somebody says to you is worth a response. Trust me, no matter how minute your response is, even if it's just a grunt or a sigh, like, just to respond is to at least acknowledge them. People say whatever they want to say, but acknowledgement is a vital thing. And to be benevolent, again, a man has to practice certain things, has to do certain things. To be truly benevolent, you cannot be afraid to administer justice. And justice is what? It's doing that which is right, even when it makes you uncomfortable. You might not be comfortable walking an old white woman or an old Asian or an old Hispanic woman across the street. But guess what? If that's the right thing to do in that moment, it costs you nothing. It's not going to cost you any money. It's an act of kindness. True act of kindness is benevolence. But again, though, to be benevolent also means that if somebody does something that's outside their self, you respond to that in kind. If a child interrupts an adult, depending on the relationship, depending on the structure of discipline, of how they're raised, depends on the response of their parents. When I was a child, if I interrupted grown folks speaking without saying excuse me, I could almost guarantee to get popped in my mouth or outright just get spanked. This is a fact. See, this is how I grew up, right? So right. When grown folks are talking, you say, excuse me. Right on? That's it. That's all. But people don't raise their children like that now, so they're different. See, I was raised way differently. I was raised, if somebody says something that's improper, you check their ass. Straight like that. Nigga, if the pastor lies on you, you're not obligated to letting the pastor lie on you just because they're a pastor, homie. That's not how it works. It's never worked like that. Not while you're putting your money and you're being charitable in their church. You do not owe them that act of benevolence. Because that's not a positive thing what you're doing. And it's not an act of kindness. It's actually an act of hate. It's an act of hate to allow a person to conduct themselves in error. Listen, you know what I'm talking about. Bro, yeah, bro. Wish you would get involved in this grown folk conversation and not say, excuse me. Little feelings all the way hurt. But that's teaching you something. It's base level honor, number one. Word? You honor these people. You know, they're your elders. So you show them base level honor. But also, it's teaching you not to be dishonorable. Because when you get older, there might be people having conversations or doing things that don't include you at that moment. And you need to have the right way to interject and intercede and possibly interrupt what they're doing while being tactful, being intelligent, and doing your best not to arouse anger or vexation. But this is something that you learn as you get older. These aren't things that you do as a child. So, you know, you're taught these things. And as I was saying, though, you know, is that most people don't realize that the other action of benevolence is critical consequence and action. The Most High God is benevolent. He's so benevolent, he created man that man would not die. Told man that if you break such commandments, then you will die. Right. He's so benevolent. It's not charity. It's all benevolence. Everything the Most High God does is out of benevolence. What does money mean to him? Or clothes or whatever that, what does anything that has any sort of value or usage to a man on this earth mean to the Heavenly Father? Nothing. We all know this. Anybody with any good sense knows that. So we can't compare an act of kindness from the Most High God to what we do. All we can do is understand that this is a likened thing to him. A true act of kindness, true benevolence, takes place when a person understands consequence, right? These are your rewards via what we give you in a positive thing, and these are your rewards or your punishments, as some people like to feel, for the negative things. But I would just say that the consequence of action, right, and the response to consequence of action is the truest form of benevolence, because it's difficult to be kind if you don't know what kindness is. A man cannot practice benevolence in truest fashion to a bird because you do not fly. You don't live the life of a bird. But the most benevolent thing you could do is give them what you think is food that they can eat. There's benevolence in that. There's true benevolence in that. There's something in that. However, whenever people don't understand how things truly work, like you could never be, as long as you are, a man can only be so much to these other things. You can go out there and feed the birds every day, feed the fish every day. You can go out there and feed the cattle every day, but let me say it like this. You know how like you see like these videos and there'll be like these cows with like nails in their feet and stuff like that, and people have to like take them out and like, you know, like fix their hooves and drain out all nasty abscesses and stuff. Okay, some of that is from the environment that the men created, so-called men created. So those are problems that the man created. So nothing they do is an act of kindness from that, because the consequence of what they did was already negative. So anything they do that's so-called positive behind that is only because of an act of true negative, nefarious, capricious, impetuous activity. That's a fact. And so when you have people who, again, will do their very best to deny these things. I'm not in the denial game, right? I'm not in the CIA. Word? You got a bunch of niggas deny. That's all they do. That's all they're good for. Is telling you no. But realistically, they know what they did. They know what they done. They know who they are. Cowards of the worst kind. And they know they are. And that's not even like that's not an insult. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. These dudes are the cowards of the worst kind. They don't want nobody to push back on them. They don't want nobody to do nothing to them. Let me just say it like this right here. The same niggas who think that they can tell people how to think are the same ones in real life who like. So what's funny is these dudes who don't sell dope, they don't realize, bro, a couple of different decisions and you could have been the dope man. Right. You're not that far removed, nigga, from being all the worst things to your people. Right. This is why for years and years and years, I've always spoke what I spoke about drug dealers and the likes. Right on? Because they, in truth, if they won't stop slinging the dope, because they're so afraid of the, because a lot of it is that they're afraid of the cartels. Cartels know where their mamas live, know where their sisters live, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they're too far in. And they're afraid, but they don't realize there's brothers that are real life veterans that'll be like, what they want to do. Right on? What they want to do. Because they got relatives who live around here too who ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Right on? It could get X-rated. So it's like, again, they're not the charitable things that niggas who think they're Nino Brown do. Oh, you handed out turkeys this year to the hood. But how much did you take from the hood though? You'd rather go to the club. Oh no, you'd rather buy this chick that you met on Instagram a Birkin. So again, they can never get me to believe that their acts of charity towards another individual are acts of benevolence. A benevolent father does not withhold from his son the rod. Right on? Thank you. A father who hates his son spares his son, does he not? Does he not? A father who hates the son spares his son the rod, right? So in action and in thought and in perpetuity, a man that spanks his child or uses the rod on his son is a man that indeed loves his son. And in that love, there is benevolence. Yes, with positive intent. The Most High God also tells you to not to not beat your sons, right on, lest they despise you. Right. So again, see, this is why when these dudes, they don't even know who I am. It's like, bro, he would have been, man, these dudes are so much better off figuring out who you are before they speak on you. I don't speak on individuals who just don't mean very much to me these days. Just because it's not important to me. Like I said, niggas try to run down on me, bro, like something bad gonna happen to you. You don't know what I got, number one. But number two, if we're already within like, hand to hand distance, some World War II Vietnam shit gonna happen to you that you're not gonna like very much. I'm gonna get rid of you. You're not gonna have any more children. Right on, even if you do walk away from this from somehow. I'm gonna make it where your baby making days are over. We're gonna do the earth a favor. I'm a act of benevolence, give you a vasectomy because free of charge. I got you. See what I'm saying? I'm that kind of brother because I care so much. Since they don't want children anyway, I'm gonna look out for them. I got them. And I say that with all seriousness. That's why I don't get loud when I say shit like that, because people need to know, like, it's popping. It's popping. Like we can get all the way left with it, or all the way right, or we can keep it straight down the middle. But either way, I'm gonna dole out the justice, the love of benevolence. Oh yeah. No need. Once again, charity has to do with money. But I don't write off my acts of charitable benevolence. I don't write that. It's not charity for me. It's just, this is what I did that one time or whatever. But all in all, I feel nothing towards people who feel like they think that they're showing you some sort of charity in any way, shape, or form. Like, nigga, again, you're not going to hear me asking for likes, subs, shares, or your money. I'm not doing this for that. I'm doing this so that way the trumpet is sounded. A man can say whatever they want to the Most High God. I cannot wait to the day of judgment. All this stuff is recorded in the heavens, and whatever you think a terabyte is ain't got nothing on the works that are done in heaven. Right. That each life that's been lived has been recorded. And each life that will continue to live will be recorded. Things that they could only wish to do here on this earth, they've done. Right. Since your understood perception of the conception of time. I'm not angry at a person who misjudged me completely. No, but I do feel like an act of benevolence, to punch their teeth out, right on, to literally smite their mouth, for the way that they were talking. I think that that's what they need. A lot of these young dudes and older dudes, because the internet that made a lot of these niggas comfortable, right? They just say any old thing. And I'll ask anybody, and they don't take this no kind of way, but how many white boys have you beat up in your life? Tell the truth. How many white boys have you even had a chance to fight with? Now, that being said, how many niggas have you fought with, put hands on, or had hands put on you by? That's the difference. Is that I don't operate in fear of people who they say are my so-called enemies. I don't operate in fear of anyone. So I can be benevolent truly to anybody because I don't operate in fear. The same way I would give a bottle of water and food to a brother that's homeless, I'm going to give it to the white dude that's homeless. And the expectation of nothing back will be the same between either party. Morning, bro. It's just one of those things, man. Oh, this dude. Oh, man. I hate this laptop, dog. Every time I touch something, it wants to tab forward. But still, real quick rundown, because I got a few more minutes before I gotta, head up out. The whole point is this: people have taken benevolence and charity for the same thing for far too long. And benevolence is a true act of kindness. Now, if I have to break down to people what kindness is, then we're already, and kindness is not being nice. That's why when they say nice guys finish last, and I'm like, kind people don't finish last. Nigga, I'm not on the streets. Okay? There's nothing nice about me. I know how to be nice. I can be nice. I'm nice with these hands and I'm nice with the cooking. Right on? I'm nice at a few things. But trust me, there's nothing nice about me at all. Kindness, all the way, in abundance. Benevolence, when I need to show it. Charity, depends. But people do not live within the true understanding of that. You give money to churches, that's charity. But the problem is that when you give money to the church, some people don't ever give money to the church with the intent of getting fiduciary means back. They give money to the church hoping the church is going to pray for them, but the church never prays for them. See what I'm saying? So it's like, this is why you're better off just doing true benevolence, right? As opposed to taking that 10% and giving that 10% as a charity to the church. How about you take that 10% and go buy non-perishable foods, right? Go buy clothes and socks, underwear, right? And go give it to people who are out there on those streets. So that way, if they do decide that they want to change sometime soon, you know what? I got these clean clothes here, right? That this brother gifted to me. I can go look for a job in this. I'm gonna do my best to. And if somebody tells me, "Oh, you should get one of these because you weren't dressed appropriately," then that gives them something. I need to go get one of these. And if nothing, walking around on the streets looking dusty. See, it's one thing to live in four walls, shower and clean your body every day, and then dress however you feel like. I've got nothing to say to that. I do have something to say to people, though, who do not live in four walls, right? Or to address the people who live in four walls versus the people who don't. You have these things, right? How do you figure you need hot running water and they never do, just because they live on the streets? Once again, base level benevolence tells you these things. A charitable mind is not thinking about that. Non-for-profit organizations are not thinking, how do we get set up a bunch of clandestine or guerrilla shower stations that are only set up for 2 hours a day, 3 times a week, right? That the city funds or that we get the people to donate to. And this is what we do. This is the charity, right? But this is a benevolent charity. We do this because we want to help these people make their lives better. We're doing this to try to help them become better people again or become the best of themselves. Whatever's available that's still left to fight, that's still left to give what they've got to give to who wants to have that, right? So again, people think that giving money is the same as you giving somebody a hot plate. They're not even close to the same. Money might make you feel better as far as you having it, like, oh, I got some money. But money, you could eat money, I guess, if you had to, but money's not really meant to be eaten. That hot meal, though, you can eat that. Them fresh clothes, you can use those right now. Money can buy you those things if you can get to those things. But people are trying to put a man in a situation where he's more approachable. A woman where she's more approachable. Where they can get what they're seeking just because they've changed their base level visage or their appearance, right? You see what I'm saying? So when one can put on new attire and a drab, whatever they want to say, right? Cloth, raiment, all those good words that say clothes, and clean somebody up, that's an act of benevolence. Especially when you're not like, oh, I'm going to use these receipts. I'm going to write this shit off later this year. That's just charity. Now, if you did that really hoping to make it better for them, that's charitable benevolence. I'll give you that much. But you don't get to say that you're all out benevolent, because a true act of benevolence, you're not going to write it off. You did this out of the real kindness of your heart. Roadhouse. I'm going to use Roadhouse real quick. Remember when the dude comes down or goes up to go get Dalton, right? And he's talking to him, and he's like, you're the best in the business. And he's like, no, Wade Garrison's the best in the business. He's like, but I want you. And he tells him what he wants tonight and how much up front. And he's like, I don't fly, I'm driving. He's like, when can I expect you? He's like, don't. And remember, he takes the one car that he has and he goes gets the Mercedes, right? And then the homeless brother that's sitting out in front of the parking garage, I'm not sure if y'all remember this part in the movie, but he throws him the keys. And he's like, what are these for? He's like, it's yours. Just like that. Bro had wheels. That's an act of benevolence right there. That's not charity. Right on? That's benevolence. I had to use a movie that you might have seen before so that way we all can relate that. See what I'm saying? That's benevolence. That's true to real life. I'm just looking out for you because I can. So when you have people who don't even understand that, they can't even it's not even in their mind, y'all. It's just not in their mind. They don't have a brain to perceive it. When you for your children, you can be being a parent who's just being responsible, but there are real acts of all-out benevolence people do for their children. This isn't like when they ask you for something and you buy it. That's different. That's a gift. Nonetheless, out of love. I would hope it's love and not out of consternation, and I hope it's not to your trepidation in any way, shape, or form. We're pressed to do it. However, when you have a child who you do something for, right, and you say, this is, let's say they're sleeping in their bed, and their favorite meal for breakfast is sliced up apples, sliced up bananas, scrambled eggs, and lightly toasted bread with actual creamy butter on it, right? And they want the butter melted. They know what they like. Okay. Boom. You whip it up for them. And they come out there and their little eyes just big as their head now, and they got the, just skinning and grinning, and now they're just ready. That's benevolence. Right on? They ask you to do that breakfast for them. Right. Does it cost you money? Sure. But that's not why you could have used that money on anything, and you could have cooked that food. You could have did anything with it, but you cooked it and you did it a certain way that they like it. That's benevolence. Right on? To a child. Because you don't have to do that. You could just feed them, and you making a meal for them that's going to taste good regardless. It's still love. It's nonetheless love. But this is an act of benevolence that goes beyond that, because now it's the love that's woven in kindness. It's not the base responsibility love I have for you. I'm responsible for you, and I love you. Right on? You're mine, and you're my seed, and you're going to be here after me, God willing, and I love you. That's a different thing. So even with your own children, you can practice benevolence. You know what I mean? And you can practice charity with them too. Allowance is charity. Let me break it down, because it's quid pro quo. Right on. Now you might give your child allowance, but you still expect good grades. You expect something in return. It's not just for nothing. So that's a for-profit organization that you're running when you do that. And people don't look at it like that because they're not taught to look at it like that. I understand that. But I'm giving them my business acumen on that personal thing. And so when you have people who don't understand, like in your own personal life, the people you deal with, I've had people who've been totally benevolent to me while being charitable at the same time. You know what I'm saying? What's popping, bro? What's good is, was everything is good. The Most High is good for sure. We know that. But the act of benevolence, man, the true kindness is not something that you can measure with money. When these guys go out here, right? And this is one of my favorite ones. It's like when the famous NFL, or he was a stud in college and now he finally about to, break through. He gonna be a top 10 draft prospect. He gonna get some money right when he sign on. It was just him and mama growing up. His daddy ain't shit. Nigga was never around, right? Like Curtis Jackson said, aka 50 Cent, probably out committing felonies. So, some of these niggas ain't got no love for pops. But the first thing they want to do is go get their mama a house. Bare minimum, get her a nice car, right? But they want to get her out the hood for sure. Oh, she got to get out the hood. I'm sorry, mama, you got to go. This family house, we'll keep it in the family's name. We'll move cousin Ray Ray and this motherfucker, but you can't stay here, right? And she gonna move, and she understand, right? How you gonna piss on his blessing? You did all that work, you raised him up this good for him to finally bless you. Now he's trying to bless you. Let him bless you, right? Now that's a charitable thing right there, because a lot of the time they write that off. They're gonna put that on it. See what I'm saying? You can't. It's different. True to life, real life. You know what I'm saying? Benevolence is not something that you normally do with money. The first, we can say the Most High God actually establishing a timeline for time is the first act of benevolence. But we're going to just speak on mankind, right? And when he formed man, right, and he breathed upon his face the breath of life, that cost no dollars. Right on? There is no return on investment, so to speak. So when you have people who do not understand this thing, who cannot realize that the life we live, an act of benevolence, is not charity. Right. What the Most High God did for us is not charitable. It's all benevolent. It was kind and it was done with a positive intent. He did these things to be positive, not the other way around. I've never known people to just bless him for being, because they'll say that he's benevolent, right? But they don't really. I'm one of the few people I know who I've been speaking on benevolence now for like the last year and a half, and just talking about how America never practiced true benevolence. Right on? They barely practice charity. So everything they do is duplicitous and sidewinding. But the Most High God, everything he's ever done and everything he does is straight up. He allows for people to live their lives and to say things that they're never. For example, if I say something evil to a person and I never ever repent for it, not even to just saying it to myself and saying it to the Father, understand, he's gonna hold that against me. Speaking truth is one thing. Some pollen in the air, y'all. Whew. Anyway, if somebody's speaking ill on you, right, and they don't say, "Hey, you know what? I was wrong. I lied. All wrong." Mm, mm. Whew, whew, trying to take me out. Hands up, y'all. Whew. Pollen is dangerous. Like a little ball floated right there. I don't know how that joker. Whoo! Like to take a brother out. Anyhow, as I was saying, if somebody speak ill on you and lie to you or lie on you, it's an evil thing for them not to repent for that. It is. And when they don't repent, see, understand, to repent is an act of benevolence. Mm-hmm. To repent. To repent is an act of benevolence. To say, Father, for this crime, whoo, that I committed against you, and not only am I confessing my sin and saying that I've done this thing, but I'm also asking that you forgive me. And through the statutes of the law known to me, I will do my best to make right to you. See, real benevolence is sacrifice to the Most High God. But where's that at in any of these churches? If you can say, I've sinned a great sin, and I want to bring this goat, or these pigeons, or these doves, or I want to bring this calf, so that way you can spill the blood. It's a perfect calf. It's a perfect goat. It's a perfect lamb. These are perfect doves. These are perfect pigeons. Where's that place at? Where we can do the benevolent thing and be charitable towards the priest. Because remember, their inheritance is the Most High God. So real priests don't get to live in cities. I mean, like they get to live in the cities and the suburbs, but they don't have their own country. The Levites didn't have. If you go back and look, you know, like there's Judah, there's Gad, there's Issachar, right? There's Zabulon, there's Manasseh, Benjamin. Did I already say Ephraim? If I didn't, there's Ephraim. I say Dan already. If not Dan, I know I said Gad already. Naphtali, right? Reuben, right? You have to remember, Simeon is incorporated into Judah, and Joseph is Ephraim and Manasseh, and Levi is the priesthood. And when they were given their inheritance or whatever they were given out of the land, the Levites weren't given any designate pieces of land, save for the suburbs in certain places. You know, the nice places. Anyway, what I'm saying is this. The act of being benevolent is not the act of being charitable. And the Most High God has been so benevolent to us that I don't feel no kind of way about it. Word? Feel nothing about it. Like, I feel nothing towards the people who don't understand. I'm like, good. Because they're not meant to understand. They're not meant to get it. Right? They're not meant to get it. If they were meant to get it, they would have got it already. You know why I never covet what somebody else has? Y'all know why? Because I don't know what you did to get that. You might have bent over and let another man violate you. I'll never let that happen. Right on, you might have let somebody sleep with your wife. I'll never let that happen. You might have let somebody violate one of your children. I'll never let that happen. Mm-hmm. You might have signed off a part of your life, a piece of your soul, essentially. I'll never let that happen. One time I signed my soul and my life away was in the Marine Corps. And once I had understood what I had done, I did my very best to break away from that. I don't believe in signing contracts that obligate me to anything. You want me to sign an NDA? Sure. Once I leave here and I no longer work here, that no longer applies to me. I don't give a fuck what the NDA says. The NDA is only good as long as I work here. While I work with you, I won't say nothing. If it says I won't say nothing afterwards, clearly I lied. Clearly. Obviously. But there's, once again, that's me knowing better. I don't say what I say for people who think that they already got it all figured out. They think everything's good to go in the white man's world. Let that be the case. Let it be the case. But do not come to me. Do not come to people talking about you need help now. Right on? People say that they're, jack of trades, man with many hats, right? Working hobos, whatever. And a working hobo typically back in the day had a few different trades underneath their belt. But my point being this. Those things, I'm not saying that I can do all little things. I'm just saying that any man who's any kind of skilled is going to be able to do stuff. So again, if I'm using my abilities and my skills, I'm not begging nobody for nothing. I'm not asking nobody for nothing. I'm not out here like, oh man, it'd be so nice if I could just get everybody to just donate $1,000 to me today, right? I'm not looking for charity. I'm looking for benevolence from the people towards the Most High God. That's what I want. I'm not here to tell you that you need to give them. That's right. Yep, Asher. Yep. How I forget about my man Asher? Okay, or Asher, however they want to say his name. How I forget about my man? Thank you, brother. Yeah, I appreciate that. Nigga started coughing and shit. Like to die in this bitch, okay? Forgot all about him. Anyway, I'm just playing with look. Nah, put him in there, man. No. We need him in there. Don't retract that. That was good information. Yeah, that's what's needed. That's how people learn, bro. Somebody who don't know nothing about the 12 tribes is going to possibly come and watch this one day. And you got to know that they need to see the name. They need to go through the whole thing. And they'll be like, oh, he got one. And then they get to see, oh, no, it was brought up. Oh, okay, no, yeah, here we go. It's good. He likes that. I like that. I appreciate those sort of things. I don't feel like you corrected me. I feel like you made me completely whole. Just and once again, that's an act of benevolence. That was an act of kindness with a positive intent, brother. I love when things happen that are actually what is being spoke on. so I can highlight it and say that. Again, benevolence has nothing to do with money. Every once in a while, you can be being benevolent with your money, but normally it's not. Is it an act of benevolence when you go to the grocery store and buy groceries? Of course not. Of course not. Is it an act of benevolence when you go to the car lot and go buy a car? Of course not. You see what I'm saying? A lot of things are not benevolent by nature, even when they deal with money. This is why what we do is more to do with benevolence than all the other things. Like I said, I said this way earlier, you're better off, we are all better off as people just being kind, right on? Not trying to be nice, but just being kind. You're better off like that. I know I'm better off. I don't try to be nice all the time. Sometimes I don't have room to be nice. I don't feel like being nice. I can still be kind, though. I know how to kindly tell somebody off. Not use one vulgarity, not one insult, not put them down, not nothing. And kindly tell them off. Know how to do it. I learned how to do it. I had to teach myself how to do it. And most of us know how to do that. We just choose not to once we're at a point of agitation where we're like, you know what, forget all that. Forget all the rules. Forget all that. I'm over it. But still, and I got a caveat back to like an initial point that I was making, about now I can say this dude's name because I done finally broke free of enough of it. But this buster ass nigga named Ringo, right? Was talking wild and reckless the other day. And like, I've only ever seen this dude's channel over the last 10 years I've been on YouTube. I've only ever stumbled across it a couple times. They just so happened to put a video in the feed and it was like black fatigue or something like that. Something about black fatigue. Now this nigga let me come up in there and I didn't hijack the show. I didn't, but I did veer the show in another direction where he didn't even talk about black fatigue. And the end of all of it, I had to like redirect and like tell dude like, bro, this all started because I said something about white Appalachians. Listen, y'all, I know myself, right on? I wasn't under the influence. I wasn't drinking or smoking when none of this was going on. I was on my phone waiting for my ride to Uber to go to work or something like that. I was going somewhere. I was waiting for a ride though. I was going somewhere. And I just thought it was funny that dude was like, really like, you know what I mean? Like talking out the side of his neck, like, bruh, we're grown men. I've been on a bunch of platforms, a bunch of them over the years. Some of them I still go to, but I don't even deal with like the biblical talk stuff. Not with these dudes. All dude had to do was invite me up and be like, bro, what's your real stance? And I could have told him this, that, the third. But when you start assuming that I don't believe in the Most High God, first off, that made him sound so foolish. I know the Most High God was in heaven like, this dude Ringo ain't never read the Bible to the people. He ain't never tried to read the first 5 books for sure. He ain't never broke down nothing about the Christ like that for real to the people. This man that you talking so bad about has done literally devoted years out of his life to talking about the scripture. Literally. Like, that's my bread and butter talking about the Bible. You feel me? So for a dude to tell me that I don't believe in the Most High God, to call me all kind of demons and devils, to call me fatherless, to say that I'm a nothing ass nigga in so many words, and it's like, bro, you wouldn't talk to me like that face to face. You would be so civilized. Right? I'm not saying he would be a pussycat. I'm just saying he would be so much more civilized. He would first off, he would have no option but to be more civilized because the threat of a real life attack would be real. Like I said, niggas talking about pulling guns. That's how you get your nuts ripped off. You can get your own gun used on you. You know, for real. For FR. No, listen, y'all. This is some. Don't ever let nobody threaten you with no gun, bro. Ever. Especially if you standing within 1 arm's length, and this nigga's talking about because he got a gun, bro. I swear to God, kick that nigga in his nuts as hard as you can. If you can't rip him off, bro, as hard as you can, and bomb on him. Then take his pistol, okay, and then use his own gun on him. Since they want to be tough, don't even go for your gun if you got your gun. Don't reach for your gun, right on. Don't even reach for yours. Just bomb on them and show them like the pistol don't make you no man. Because that's what they be thinking these days. They think because they got a gun, that's the end all be all. I beat other grown men up while wearing a pistol on my hip. Literally. Whooped the shit out of them. And sometimes they didn't even know I had the gun. So that's how I know that these dudes on the internet are just fucking weirdos. They ain't never faced no criminal charges. Like I said, how many scalps of white boys do they got? How many white boys they done beat up in their life? I guarantee you it's less than 3. When it comes to white folks, them niggas is pussycats. And they can call out race. Anybody can call out racism. White people call out racism. That's nothing. How hard? Excuse me. How hard is that? How hard is it to say, I don't like racism or I don't support racism? Big whoop. Big whoop. For a man to say that the people don't admit that the reason why we're here is because of the Most High God, while then not speaking on the fact that some of the people are totally unaware of who they are. Oh, that nigga, that Paul trying to get a nigga, but I won't let him, okay? I won't let him stop the message. But still, they don't realize that some people are unaware. If the scripture says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, right? Then who is he to get mad at any of those dudes who might lack the knowledge? Off tops, he's already wrong. See, I don't get mad at these dudes for lacking the knowledge. I get mad at them because they do know. That's the difference. Right. So when he calling all these people demons and devils when he doesn't even have the spiritual discernment to distinguish that all brown-skinned people are not genetically the same. These are the sorts of things that I'm talking about. That if we all just stand back and look at it at face value, we all know what I'm talking about. That's the truth. You have, and it's not just Ringo, it's a bunch of these dudes out there who are weird like this nigga. Word? Because he got, his piece of the pie, right? Right? The fish don't fry in the beans don't burn on the grill, right? Right? He said, we're moving on up, Meech. Yeah. See, because his life is where it's at for him. He projects what he feels is success on the other people, not realizing, bro, maybe I don't live where you at all. Maybe I'm fine living by the docks. Maybe I'm fine living by the water, right on for the time being. Maybe I don't mind looking out the window and seeing beautiful trees, right on. It touched him when I told him I lived in the suburbs. I know he didn't like that. I know he didn't like when I told him I'm in better shape than most people. Neither one of those was a lie. Both of them are true. And I'm not saying that to have been talking crazy, but for dude to has said what he said is like, bro, you don't even know me from a can of paint. From a can of paint. You would have been better off playing federal investigator. But now you false prophet on your own show. And I haven't went back to go get the nigga show yet because, again, I'm a benevolent brother. Right on? The real act of kindness is going to be me not going to go get the video and just exposing this dude. Right on? And just being like, okay, how many people who know me know I love my father? Because with all my heart and soul. Broke my heart when my father passed away. For this dude to speak on my father not being there, like, had we been face to face and this nigga has said some shit like that to me, bro, I'm probably catching the case, y'all. For real. I'm probably going down for a long time. And his daughter would be without their father. You see what I'm saying? And I wouldn't kill him with no gun. It would be with my bare hands, bro. I would choke the life out that nigga, bro. Right on. And I would hear him, please, brother, no. It's too late for all that. Right on? It's too late. You lied, my nigga, and you lied on my father because you said my father was an absentee father, nigga. For that, you have to die, bro. It's not no emotional shit. It's because you're lying. Right on? If you weren't lying, if you told the truth, nigga, if you was like, nigga, your dad smoked crack, that's how he died. Okay. That's true. What can I say to that? That's true. But for you to say that my father was never there for me, my nigga, for that, bro, the wager of sin is death. Who here disagrees with what I just said? The wager of sin is death. So if you lie on somebody, this is why when y'all hear me say, oh, I lied, I straight tell you I lied. Even if it was something that seems like it's harmless. It's not harmless to me, nigga. I don't want nobody hurting me because I was not being honest. Yeah. So when I say shit like that, I say that with edification, I knowingly know that I just said something that was not true. I lied. So that's a correction of self. But for a grown-ass man to fucking be sitting there like right now, like how I'm not berating nobody. I'm not talking down to nobody. And even though I can't share a link right now, if it was that important, because on everything, you know what I would do? I would give a nigga my phone number. I would let a nigga call me and we would chop it while I was live. That's what I would do. Because I ain't no buster ass dude. So I don't understand why folks, you know what I'm saying, feel the need to act the way that they act. Because at the end of the day, by the end of this week, I'm going to have committed a whole bunch more acts of kindness for strangers and for known affiliate type of people who I see off and on. I'm going to have committed a bunch of acts of kindness because that's who I am as a person. And I don't need to record it. And I don't need to document every single one of them. I don't need to say, oh, yeah, today I gave this person $7. Yeah, today I gave this person a bag of food. Or I went and got this person some clean socks and underwear. No, I don't need to do all that. I know what I do for other people. And I'm fine with that. Right on? Once again, you guys do not need to prove to me or anybody else how much you love the Most High God. You don't. You don't owe it to any man to prove to him anything like that. And when people try to make it to where they think that you owe them that, once again, bro, true benevolence to the Most High God is sacrifice to him. True benevolence to the Most High God is obedience. You want to really be benevolent to the Most High God? Obey the law. If you cannot obey the law, do the right sacrifices for certain things that you cannot make right for. There is no way to make right for killing somebody. There is no way to make right for raping somebody. There is no way to make right for sleeping with animals. There is no way to make right for a man laying with a man or a woman laying with a woman. There is no way to make certain things right. There is no procedure to make it right. So what you do is you just stop doing it. You turn from your wicked ways. See what I'm saying? And that, my friends, is benevolence. The only kind that you can practice towards the Most High. Truthfully, really, honestly. I don't have to tell you, stories of how I messed something up and something got right for me. Let me just tell y'all this right here. Let me tell you how great God is. Let me show you. I'm getting ready to end this real soon. But these are my very first own, right? I made my own sausages the other day, right? Gave my cousin a pack. I kept a pack. All beef. All beef. Sheepskin casing. All beef sausage, right? Made it myself, right? Well, I didn't make it myself, obviously, I didn't. Look, I made them. I cranked them out. That's what I'm saying. When I do things like that, and I'm able to now, let's say, I want a relative of mine. Let's say that I got relatives who are still eating pork sausage, who I don't want to eat pork sausage, right? Now I have the actual option. I can make them some real life beef sausages, spicy beef, regular beef. Right on? Word? Because they can always go buy their own all beef hot dog. So, you know, but I'm for real though. Just like that. And then people are like, oh, it's like, bro, I did that myself. Right on? But I'm doing that not just for myself, I'm doing that for other people too. Now I'm trying to make some money in the end of that, not off my people, but on the back end of everything for sure. When I finally perfect my craft, but for right now, my whole mentality is just bringing this to people who I know need it, who I know can benefit from having it, because they don't have another option of getting quality whatever, and they don't want to. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to spend a whole bunch of money buying fancy beef sausages. Got you. I got you. I'll make them like they're like brats. You feel me? I'll crank them out. I'll tube them up. I'll wrap them off. I'll break them. Whatever you want me to do, I'm gonna do it. And then you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get it right. But that's where I'm at. See, the Most High God is so kind to me that the acts of benevolence I practice to myself is showing myself how to do things I didn't know how to do before, uh, teaching myself things that I didn't know before, right? And not even let's say teaching myself, but searching out the knowledge that's presently available and immersing myself in it. You know what I mean, right? And really inundating myself with the knowledge, so that way I can know what it is that I desire. Um, a lot of people have a lot of things already that Black people don't always have. You know, this dude who was talking mad nonsensical crazy to me, he probably ain't never cooked meals like I have and went and told people, hey, if you come up over here, if you come to my little spot, I'm gonna hook you up. I done hooked up a bunch of people like that over the years. Word, blessing them. And now I got something else I can bless people with. I've been making this banana pudding. I ain't made none in a few weeks and almost a month. I'm gonna make another. I'm gonna make another batch. I've been making this banana pudding that's been on fire. Uh, I've been trying to do that so that way I can just look out for my people. Because I know that people don't want to do nothing kind for us and do show us no love. You know, like every once in a while, like if there's somebody that eats stuff like that who's homeless on the street, you best believe I've served up dishes of desserts to these dudes out here. They deserve that. Again, they deserve an act of kindness. You know what I'm saying? I'll part ways with a dish if I have to, but normally I can just go buy something or I already have something I can use that I don't, you know, it's not going, it's nothing. You got to bless people, y'all, while you still here, while you yet live, and while it's in your mind to do it. You have to actively go out there and bless people. And that doesn't mean make your finances messed up. That doesn't mean make yourself uncomfortable. But if it's doing justice, you might have to be just a little uncomfortable to achieve justice. And justice is doing that which is right, even when it makes you uncomfortable. Do you want to be around a bunch of dirty niggas who's you don't know the last time they showered and all kind of shit? No. But you can't tell me you Christ-like and you won't get around them. Right on? I'm not saying I can cast out a demon from somebody right here and right now, but I know how to speak the words to reach that part of a person that hasn't been reached in years. You know what I'm saying? I know how to get that demon all the way worked out. I've seen it done. And I'm talking about just speaking to people and just doing for people. But you got to be for the people who they're not already. Like I said, this dumbass nigga was talking crazy, but I guarantee you, this dude ain't gonna be out there trying to bless nobody. He ain't out there trying to help nobody. He like he was doing with me, standing on a soapbox, grandstanding, talking crazy, and being self-righteous. That's all he does. Self-righteousness is not a get into heaven free card. Right on? You don't get into the pearly gates by being self-righteous. As I end this up and I wrap this up, I say this right here. Benevolence, again, is not charity. And don't take somebody's act of charity as an act of benevolence. Yeah. They might be being benevolent while being charitable, but they might not be. They might be doing this for some. If you give somebody a ride to the gas station, fill up an entire one of those little gas cans, and drop them off and never see them again, and you never talk about it, you never act like it was a thing, that's benevolence. Okay? You posted it on social media, it's a sideways act of kindness. Because they didn't need you to post the fact that they had broke down the car. Weird stuff. And this is the note that we end on. The other day, I'm going car hunting or whatever, right? I didn't get a whip. I'm going car hunting the other day, and I'm looking for a car. And as we're coming up this back street, I see this brother. He's in a Lincoln. I forget what kind of Lincoln it is, but he's in a Lincoln, right? It's a nice car, but the car, for whatever reason, broke down. So I hop out because we're at the light. We're in the turn lane. I hop out. I help bro push the car back, right? And then we push the car forward so that way he can curb it, and he can call AAA or whoever he gonna call, right? Did I say, oh bro, owe me some money? Did I say, oh man, let me put this on my Instagram, right? On my Facebook Live? No, some weird shit like that. No. I asked bro, hey bro, you need any gas money? He's like, no, I'm good. I was like, you need anything else? He's like, no, I'm good. I was like, hey bro, have a better day. Hope you'll get that taken care of. I told him what I thought he should do, which is get on YouTube and see and look up the car, the year, the model, the make, and see about the exact problem that happened, and maybe somebody has an actual video on it already. There's a good chance of that. Anyway, I was out of there. Or I'm only bringing that up to y'all so that way you guys understand what I believe being benevolent is. Word, that's an act of benevolence, not wanting nothing from him and trying to see if he possibly needed anything else. Because I don't know, maybe the car just ran out of gas. Word, but maybe he was too prideful to take my money though too. At the same time, like I ain't taking no money from this nigga. Because some people be like that. Or some people be, they only want so much help. And I don't knock them for that. I'm not blaming them or nothing. I'm just saying, like, you can, I couldn't gauge it because that's not my problem. I did what I could do. I did the part that I did what I thought I could do, and I was out of there. That's benevolence, y'all. Bless your people like that. Do what you can. And nobody asking you to help somebody that you don't know move out their house or move into their new address. I tell you to do that. I'm saying though, man, you see somebody carrying their groceries out their car, right? And they look like they could use a hand, or they look like they're about to drop something. You say, hey, let me help you just real quick. So that way you can, get repositioned, right? And if they look like they don't want no help, then don't help them. We're all the same. But do the right thing. Be benevolent. Be kind with positive intent. Nobody needs your charity, brothers and sisters. Your verbal charity, your so-called financial charity, nobody needs it. All these charity organizations and the earth is still in poverty, and people still live in squalor. People still live in indigence. So for that to be the case, and they call it abject poverty. So for people to be living like that, just remember that benevolence isn't charity. I salute you. I salute you again. I salute you once more. May tomorrow be better than today, and may your next week be better than your last. Let me say this real quick. Going forward, this next day or so, I'm gonna drop out all the Bible stuff. I haven't been able to get the recordings like I want to. I'm not able to edit what I want, so I'm just gonna have to just do them live and just do them in 45-minute to 35 to 45-minute sticks, but I already got like 4 or 5 little lessons lined up. So be looking for those. I'm going to drop at least 2 this week and then probably 2 next week and let people mull it over. And a lot of it has to do with, well, the first part's going to do with how we see women, and how we deal with women. And then, and it's nothing negative. It's actually something that I think a lot of men could stand to hear. And then from there, we're going to be starting to look at original creators, right? And the first this and the first that. And we're going to start to break down when the fallen angels actually came down to the earth, which bloodlines they were possibly able to influence based on what's written in the book of Enoch, how all these things fall together, and how some of the people that you're looking at right now who claim to be working on the side of the Most High God are nothing but tares amongst the wheat. Whew. Anyway, I'll catch y'all later.